The air in the executive suite of Horizon Dynamics was thick with tension. "Don't you dare speak to me like that!" sneered Victor Langston, his voice sharp as a blade. His tailored suit and polished shoes gleamed under the fluorescent lights, a stark contrast to the worn gray uniform of the woman standing before him. "You're nothing but a cleaner. Get this mess sorted or you won't have a job tomorrow." The woman Amara Thompson, disguised as Lila, stood soaked, her uniform clinging to her skin. Moments earlier, Victor had deliberately tipped a cup of coffee across the freshly mopped floor, the dark liquid pooling at her feet. Her hands trembled not from the cold, but from the calculated cruelty of the act. She bit back a retort, her eyes burning with a fire she forced herself to contain. "Now you've got something worth cleaning," Victor said with a smirk, turning on his heel and leaving her to the wreckage. What Victor didn't know was that the woman he'd just humiliated wasn't just a cleaner. She was Amara Thompson, the 29-year-old heir to Horizon Dynamics, a renewable energy empire valued at $6 billion. She was here undercover to uncover the truth about the company her father, Samuel Thompson, had built from nothing. And in just a few days, Victor's world would come crashing down. The gleaming headquarters of Horizon Dynamics stood as a monument to innovation, its glass facade reflecting the San Francisco skyline. Inside, Amara Thompson, disguised as Lila, pushed a mop across the executive floor. Her name tag read Lila Carter, a carefully crafted alias. Her hands, once accustomed to signing multi-million-dollar contracts, were now raw from industrial cleaners. Her designer wardrobe had been swapped for a shapeless uniform, her sleek braids hidden under a plain scarf, and her signature gold earrings replaced with cheap studs. Amara, a Stanford MBA graduate and Forbes 30. Under 30 honoree, was no stranger to leadership. She'd spent years as Horizon's executive vice president, spearheading initiatives that made the company a leader in sustainable energy. But this was different. This was personal. 6 months ago, Samuel Thompson, Horizon's founder and CEO, had suffered a heart attack. At 62, his decades of 80-hour work weeks had taken their toll. Doctors were clear: reduce stress or risk another potentially fatal incident. Succession planning, once a distant concept, became urgent. Amara, his only child, was the natural choice to take over. But Samuel had doubts not about her brilliance, but about her perspective. At a quiet dinner in their modernist home overlooking the bay, Samuel laid out his concerns. "Amara, you're exceptional. Your vision, your drive, it's why this company will thrive under you. But you've only seen Horizon from the top. You've never experienced what it's like for the people who keep this place running, the cleaners, the maintenance crews, the invisible ones." Amara frowned, setting down her wine glass. "Dad, I read every employee survey. I meet with department heads weekly. I know this company." Samuel shook his head, his graying hair catching the light. "Reports don't tell you how people are treated when no one's watching. I started Horizon in a garage with a soldering iron and a loan from your grandmother. I was the janitor, the engineer, the delivery guy. That perspective shaped me. You need to see Horizon from the ground up." The challenge was bold. Amara would go undercover as a cleaner for 3 weeks. No executive privileges, no recognition, just the raw reality of life at the bottom of the corporate ladder. She'd experienced the company culture firsthand, unfiltered by the polished presentations of management. The transformation was meticulous. Amara's tailored suits were replaced with thrift store clothes. Her manicured nails were stripped bare, her makeup abandoned. Contact lenses replaced her designer glasses. Samuel arranged her placement through a third-party cleaning service, EcoClean, ensuring no one in HR would suspect. Her alias, Lila Carter, came with a forged background check and a paper trail that made her invisible, a nobody in the eyes of Horizon Dynamics. As Amara stood in the employee locker room on her first night adjusting her ill-fitting uniform, she felt a mix of nerves and determination. She clipped the unfamiliar badge to her chest and took a deep breath. 3 weeks. That's all it would take to prove she understood Horizon and to ensure it still reflected the values her father had instilled. Amara's first shift began at 10 p.m., long after the executives had left. The orientation was curt. A supervisor named Carla rushed through cleaning protocols, safety rules, and a warning about theft leading to immediate termination. She handed Amara a ring of keys and a checklist, barely glancing at her, as Lila Amara was invisible. Executives stepped around her cart without acknowledgement. Those still working in their offices discussed sensitive deals as if she weren't there emptying their trash. By midnight, her hands were blistered, her back ached, and her perspective was already shifting. The company she'd known from boardrooms felt distant, replaced by a reality where respect was a luxury not afforded to the cleaning crew. The patterns emerged quickly. Some employees were polite, offering a nod or a quiet thank you. Others were indifferent, treating her as part of the furniture. But a few were deliberately cruel, none more so than Victor Langston, the operations director. Victor, 47, was a corporate climber with a reputation for results. His pressed shirts and slick demeanor masked a tyrant who thrived on control. To the cleaning crew, he was a nightmare. On Amara's second night, he inspected her work with a flashlight, pointing out streaks on windows that were spotless. "This is Horizon Dynamics," he snapped. "We don't tolerate mediocrity. Do it again." Amara complied, her jaw tight. As Lila, she had no power to push back. But as Amara, she was building a mental dossier, noting every interaction, every slight. Victor's behavior wasn't just harsh, it was targeted, as if her presence as a new cleaner challenged his authority. By the end of her first week, Amara had adapted to the physical demands of cleaning. Her blisters had hardened into calluses, and she'd learned to mop efficiently to save her back. But the psychological toll was heavier. Victor's attacks grew bolder. On Thursday night, he accidentally knocked over her cart, sending bottles and rags sprawling across the floor. "Clumsy," he muttered, stepping over the mess without a glance. The incident that pushed her to the edge came on Friday. Amara was mopping the hallway outside the main conference room when Victor approached. Without warning, he poured a cup of coffee onto the floor, the liquid splashing her shoes. "You missed a spot," he said, his tone dripping with malice. "Clean it up, Lila, and don't let me catch you slacking again." Amara froze, the humiliation searing through her. She wanted to scream, to reveal herself as Amara Thompson and fire him on the spot. But she remembered her father's words, "You can't lead what you don't understand." This was why she was here, to see the truth, no matter how ugly. She began documenting everything. A small camera hidden in her cart recorded Victor's actions. Her phone, silenced in her pocket, captured audio of his insults. She noted dates, times, and witnesses, building a case that would hold up in any boardroom or courtroom. Victor wasn't alone. Amara encountered others who exploited their power over the cleaning staff. Elaine Harper. The marketing VP was a 43-year-old executive with a curated image of creativity, vibrant scarves, bold glasses, and a constant stream of buzzwords. But her office was a gauntlet for cleaners. On Amara's second week, Elaine demanded her office be re-cleaned 3 times, citing dust on surfaces that gleamed. She left pens scattered on the carpet, then complained about sloppy work. Her critiques were delivered with a smile, but the condescension was unmistakable. Nathan Brooks, the senior sales director, was a 50-year-old deal-maker whose charisma masked a volatile temper. During a late-night meeting, he berated Amara for entering the conference room to clean despite it being on her schedule. "Do you have any idea how important this is?" he shouted. "Get out and don't come back until I say so." When Amara hesitated, he slammed his fist on the table, sending papers flying. The final blow came from Marissa Kent, the HR director. Amara approached her after Victor's coffee incident, hoping HR would intervene. Marissa, 46, projected warmth with her open-door policy and "we're all family" rhetoric. But when Amara as Lila recounted Victor's behavior, Marissa's smile tightened. "Lila, you're new, so let me explain. Victor's under a lot of pressure. His standards are high and his style can be direct. Focus on doing your job better and you'll avoid these issues." Amara left the meeting stunned. HR wasn't a safe space, it was a shield for the powerful. She recorded the conversation, adding it to her growing evidence. The tipping point came during Amara's third week. She was cleaning the executive boardroom when Nathan Brooks stormed in mid-argument with a colleague. "Lila, what the hell are you doing here?" he snapped. "This room is off limits during meetings." "I'm following the schedule, sir," Amara said calmly. "It's assigned for cleaning at 9 p.m. Nathan's face reddened. "Don't talk back to me," he hissed, stepping closer. In a flash, he grabbed her arm, shoving her toward the door. "Get out or you're done." The physical aggression was a shock. Amara stumbled but caught herself, her cheek burning from the force of his grip. The other executives in the room averted their eyes, their silence complicit. In that moment, Amara's mission crystallized. This wasn't just about understanding Horizon's culture. It was about dismantling a system that allowed such abuse to thrive. Amara's 3 weeks undercover ended on a Sunday. That night, she met with her father at their family home. Over a late dinner, she presented her findings videos of Victor's cruelty audio of Elaine's manipulations, Nathan's aggression, and Marissa's complicity. She revealed a deeper scandal. Victor, Elaine, and Nathan had been siphoning funds meant for employee benefits into offshore accounts while leaking proprietary data to competitors to undermine Samuel's leadership. Samuel's face hardened as he watched the evidence. "They've betrayed everything Horizon stands for," he said, his voice low. "We need to act, but it has to be strategic. A public reckoning, not just a quiet firing." They devised a plan. Samuel called an emergency board meeting for Monday morning, requiring all senior executives to attend. Amara would maintain her disguise as Lila until the last moment, ensuring no one suspected her true identity. The board was briefed on the general issues, but not the specifics, preserving the element of surprise. On Monday, Amara arrived as Lila pushing her cart to the boardroom. Victor, true to form, inspected her work with a scowl. "This room better be spotless," he barked. "The CEO's here today. One speck of dust and you're gone." Amara nodded, her heart pounding with anticipation. At 10 a.m., Samuel called the meeting to order. "We're here to address serious violations of Horizon's values," he began. "Over the past month, evidence has surfaced of systemic abuse and corruption." As executives shifted uncomfortably, Victor interrupted. "This is sensitive business. The cleaner needs to leave." Amara set down her mop, straightened, and turned to face the room. "Actually, Victor, I'll stay." She removed her scarf, revealing her braids, and swapped her plain glasses for her designer frames. Gasps rippled through the room as she shed the uniform, revealing a tailored suit beneath. "I'm Amara Thompson, and I've been working as Lila to see the truth about Horizon." The room fell silent, jaws dropping. Amara activated a projector displaying video of Victor pouring coffee on her Elaine's endless demands, Nathan's shove, and Marissa's dismissal of her complaint. She presented financial records exposing the trio's embezzlement and data leaks. Victor stammered. "This is a misunderstanding," but Amara cut him off. "There's no misunderstanding, assault, theft, or betrayal." Elaine tried to deflect. "The videos are edited." Amara advanced to another clip showing Elaine's actions from a different angle. "Would you like the audio too?" Nathan and Marissa sat frozen, their defenses crumbling. The board watched in stunned silence as Amara laid out the full scope of the corruption. When she finished, Samuel stood beside her. Horizon was built on integrity and respect. Today, we reclaim those values. The board voted unanimously to terminate Victor, Elaine, Nathan, and Marissa effective immediately. Security escorted them out, their protests echoing down the hall. Victor's final plea. "I've given this company 20 years," was met with Samuel's icy response. "And you've spent them abusing those who trusted you." The meeting shifted to reform. Amara proposed a task force to overhaul workplace policies, prioritizing protections for support staff. She introduced anonymous reporting channels and mandatory training on workplace respect. The board accelerated her succession, naming her CEO within weeks. 6 months later, Horizon Dynamics was transformed. Employee satisfaction soared, turnover plummeted, and productivity climbed. Amara's leadership was shaped by her time as Lila. She greeted cleaners by name, listened to frontline workers, and ensured decisions considered every level of the organization. As she stood in her new office looking out over the city, Amara folded the gray uniform she'd worn as Lila. It was a reminder of the lessons that shaped her empathy, resilience, and the power of seeing the world through others' eyes. Horizon wasn't perfect, but under her leadership, it was a place where every voice mattered.